Hey everybody, what's going on? We have a pretty good episode now for Monday Night Raw. We have the last episode of Monday Night Raw for our move on to the pay-per-view of Night of Champions. We got some good matches going forward. The Scramble match, U.S. title match, all championships on the line. Let's just jump right into Raw. So for the opening of the show, we have a Night of Champions preview, pretty much running down who the Scramble match is going to consist of, in case you forgot, really hammering in that home. You know, Kofi, Bray, Barrett, Bourne, and Punk all going to be in the Scramble match for a chance to become WWE Champion. Next, we have a great match between the world's greatest tag team and the Kings of Wrestling, with the world's greatest tag team picking up the win when Shelton Benjamin manages to defeat Chris Hero with the Broken Arrow. Sabin and the Motor City Machines run in, tried to attack Charlie Haas, but that wasn't enough to stop world's greatest tag team winning and getting a much-needed win on their high-profile match coming up with the Machine Guns at this Sunday's event. Next, we have a decent little match, a cool-down match between Wade Barrett and R-Truth. R-Truth tries his best and he gives him good, but, Wade Barrett is able to beat R-Truth despite Evan Bourne. They do the theme music gimmick where there's music all of a sudden, like, whoa, and then the music just kind of stops. It's like, oh, okay. Evan Bourne wasn't out there, but Evan Bourne trying to get in Wade Barrett's head, who will be taking on CM Punk in the main event. And Wade Barrett still picks up the win against R-Truth with the Wasteland. Next, we have Randy Orton and The Miz just brawling out of control backstage, through the halls, through other people, just completely taking over each other, and it's a pretty big segment, highlighting the absolute disdain that these two men, as well as CM Punk, have for each other ever since the end of WrestleMania. Next, we have a 6-man tag match between Tokyo Pimp and the Dragon Aces versus the Shield, and they're able to get the win on the Shield when Tokyo Pimp defeats Dean Ambrose using it's supposed to be, so how I should have done this self. He pins Seth Rollins, who he's going to be facing in a triple threat, because Douglas came out and attacks Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins is attacked, and that leads the U.S. champ to pin Seth Rollins, so putting a little edge in their little feud going forward. The, England's finest and England's finest and the Shield. Their feud's still going on, and now it has accompanied the U.S. Championship. Next thing we have is Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus is backstage, and she's questioning Nikki Bella and Brie Bella again, who are still kind of scared about what has happened to Cheerleader Melissa. They don't know what's going on. Astrid Dunla's in the background smiling. Everyone's, at home is like, it's Astrid, damn it, it's this weird woman. How do you not understand this? And yeah, they're pretty much, that's how that rolls out. Just a fun little segment. Next we have Kofi Kingston. He's sitting backstage with the WWE title. He proceeds to rant about his odds in the championship scramble match, which are low, and how he wouldn't have it any other way. He also talks about his opponents for Sunday in order. For Bray Wyatt, he pretty much just focuses on, he's a sick monster. He uses a lot of mind games, but he focuses too much on those mind games. He's never really going to make a large impact in the WWE. Talks about CM Punk, a man who's had his head in the spotlight for too long. He needs to move on. He had a long title reign, a pretty decent title reign, but Kofi Kingston's champion now, and CM Punk needs to get over the fact that he lost it. Wade Barrett, he's someone who focuses on the fact that he's English. He's focused on his ethnicity rather than his merits as a wrestler. It doesn't matter where you're from for Kofi Kingston. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're born from. He's going to beat you 1, 2, 3 in the ring to keep this championship. And then he finally gets to Evan Bourne. He says, the only good person in this match, but you know what they say, nice guys, they finish last, and that's why Evan Bourne is not going to win either. So pretty much just highlighting the fact that he's going to win on Sunday, which is what he should be saying. Next, we have a decent little match between Chris Jericho and Kane. Kane getting the win following interference from the Big Show, who comes out. And then the Big Show and Kane, they both do a double choke slam onto Chris Jericho. And as they do that, we do have the official announcement. Chris Jericho and the Big Show will be fighting in a match at Night of Champions. So that should be fun to watch. The only non-title match at the event. But yeah, no, you feel fitting that this feud kind of deserves it. And next we have the main event. It's going to be CM Punk and Evan Bourne fighting next in our main event. Who's going to pick up a much-needed win, momentum going into Sunday. And it's going to be CM Punk. CM Punk is able to get the win with a vicious roundhouse kick to Evan Bourne in 24 minutes. Evan Bourne puts in a good performance. That's the main thing, is he's been doing pretty good for himself as of late. But, you know, it is what it is. You can't win them all, kid. And then we have a fun little segment, which I always like. So Punk's celebrating in the ring. He's just beaten Evan Bourne. He's being cocky. All of a sudden, bam, souvenir elbow. Wade Barrett just hits him with the Barrett Barrage. Or no, not the Barrett Barrage, the Bull Hammer, I'm sorry. Just hits them with that vicious elbow. So now Wade Barrett's kind of standing there, yucking it up. And all of a sudden the lights go out. And when they come back on, Bray Wyatt's in the ring. Bam, Sister Abigail, Bray Wyatt. CM Punk's down, Wade Barrett's down. Now Bray Wyatt does the ceremonial thing, the follow the buzzards kind of thing, Maybe the other, no, the others probably aren't there yet. The Luke and Harp, we haven't seen them for a bit. And then Kofi Kingston runs down, and he's able to get a Trouble in Paradise right off of Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's down, and Kofi Kingston's up. The crowd's probably cheering. But then there is a little bit of some shocking moment when Evan Bourne comes off the springboard and just takes Kofi down. And Evan Bourne is the last one to stand tall. He may have lost the match, but he's the one standing, tall in the ring. He grabs Kofi's belt, and he holds it he looks at it, he wants it, he holds it in the air for probably a good crowd response. They're probably cool at this point. And that's how we end Monday Night Raw. 95A, I'm pretty good with that Raw. Pretty good Raw to go back and, kind of like a good standalone for the last thing of Raw before Night of Champions. Ooh, I'm bad at recording these in long sessions, as you can tell. I always stumble over words and stuff. But, always good. So, I really like that Raw. Everything was cool. So I will see you guys for the SmackDown, and then it will be Night of Champions.